DK
Golfcast,
presented by Bones Brothers Media.
Hey, look, Hawaii is beautiful. And it's pretty darn nice in California, too. In fact, it's recreational legal out there. So we're big fans of the Bones DK podcast of California. But outside of a major, and not just because of the weather, the field, the Arizona landscape, but because this is one of the biggest, if not the biggest parties of the year on the PGA Tour, the Waste Management Phoenix Open is the one that I want to attend. By the way, the first year the event will take place when sports betting is legal in Arizona as well. So let's crank it all the way up to 11 with the Waste Management this weekend. My name is Edge. Welcome into the program. Follow me at Golf Guy WV on Twitter and TikTok. Joining me as always, TWMan66. And I'll tell you what, T-Dubs, PGA Tour events to me, they seem to be becoming more like music festivals, week-long music festivals, because there are guys just getting wrecked at these things. In fact, they call this one the Wasted Management. But there was just a clip on Twitter this week of guys, how many beers are they drinking where they can't actually walk forward? Their legs are moving forward, but they seem to be walking backwards. Can you explain that to me?
Well, I don't know if that's a guy at the Waste Management or if that's me walking out of happy hour last night. Because I seem to remember having a bit of a lean last night myself. But, boy, you got to be really, really lit up to be doing the sideways gravity thing here, you know?
You're not going to see more leaners than you'll see at a PGA Tour event. I mean, it's social media proven, and the PGA Tour is, I'm sure, quick to wash them from social media. But Bones DK Golf joining us from Pittsburgh. What's going on here? This is the tournament you would want to go to also. I know that, the Wasted Management. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go there for a while now, and I'm really disappointed I'm not there this year, actually. I was planning on it, and just things got in my way. But I'm going to be there next year, and we will be having a great time. It's my favorite tournament of the year.
Yo, fam, let's make it a field trip next year. Waste Management, Phoenix Open. This is usually the first tournament of the year, besides the Tournament of Champions, which we saw the very first week on the PGA Tour. This is usually the tournament where all the big guns come out. We'll talk about the field here in just a few minutes. But, Bones, I'll let you speak for yourself about last week, but I'm going to say this. That is the last time I ever throw money on any type of pro-am event that involves the PGA Tour. 3 different courses, just a bunch of forced comedy, marathon rounds. I'm not really sure who they're even trying to appease. Who's watching this, Wildman?
It's very strange. It's like, and this is so appropriate that it's the Waste Management Week right after it, because Waste Management is the way golf should be played, right? It's all about the fans. It's all about, being at a spectacle and being and partying and having a good time. The notion of men over the age of 60 being the PGA Tour's brood of fans is antiquated. But it's so strange then when you see Larry the Cable Guy is on TV inside of the PGA Tour ropes. And I don't even know if Larry was in the Cable Guy was in this one. But
who is just tuning in to watch Macklemore play golf? Who is tuning in, to watch Larry Fitzgerald play golf, Bones DK? I'm not sure what the PGA is even going after here or what audience they're trying to appease.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we have the Mario Lemieux Classic in Pittsburgh. I don't know if that's still going on, but back in the day, it was Michael Jordan, John Elway, Dan Marino. We wanted to see those guys. That was amazing. But
it wasn't tied to a PGA Tour event either, though. There was money on the line here. Right. That's what's peculiar to me about this. Why what they're even going with this thing, because their audience is gravitating towards a much more gambling audience, the PGA Tour audience is. And that, as Wildman said, is just completely antiquated. I don't know if we'll get to an answer here on the bottom of this podcast, but let's move on to the Wasted Management. That's what we want to talk about, and we will be calling it the Wasted Management throughout the podcast in spirit of the event. Fans coming back to the event for the first time in a while. So this is back at the famous TPC Scottsdale, Wildman. It's in the desert, so the ball travels a long way. Finding the fairways got to be important here. 7,200 yards. The par 5s are gettable. There's only 3 of them, though. So what can you tell us about the course? What can you tell us about the stats that we're going to need to follow this week if we're going to have success?
Well, yeah, so it's in the desert, a lot of bunkers off the tee. So driving accuracy is going to be more important than driving distance. However, longer hitters tend to play well here, like Tony Finau, Bubba Watson, Phil. There's a lot of guys that hit the ball really, really far that play well here, despite it not being important to hit it that far. So maybe you give a little bit of an edge there to guys that are longer than average off the tee and also rate out well off the tee. But yeah, you're going to have to keep it straight. You're going to have to keep it in the fairway. There is some trouble out here too. There's water. Like I said, there's a lot of fairway bunkers. There's a couple risk reward holes like the par fives, like number 17 coming down the stretch where you can, get an eagle opportunity there on the par four or go into the water. And a lot of guys go for that because if you're in the water, you're green side and you're dropping on the fringe and can two putt for a par a lot of times. So, we're going to be looking at fairways gained. We're going to be looking at guys that are in the short grass with good iron play and good par five scoring.
According to Osimo.com, just 4 holes will make up 50% of the scoring here at the Waste Management Phoenix. So you have to have the guys score on the par fives. And as Wildman just said, number 17, a drivable par 4, where you just said you can make eagle at the very worst up and down for a par. So we'll have to see how players choose to play that this week. The field is incredibly strong, Bones DK. We've got 4 of the top 6 golfers in the world, 16 of the top 25. You got Justin Thomas. You got John Rahm, who's never finished worse than 16th in this tournament. McIlroy, Webb Simpson, Xander, Hideki, who's a 2-time winner, Berger, Bubba Watson, you just mentioned, has 6 top 10s at this tournament. So a huge field, 132 players, top 65 make the cut. Who you liking in this top tier? Because you got 6 guys here in this top tier, Bones DK. Rahm, Thomas, Cantlay, Matsuyama, Hovland, and then Spieth is the first guy to go under 10K. So some big hitters and a lot of guys in that $10,000 range. Do you build around any of these guys to start?
Yeah, man, this is a loaded range. I mean, wow. John Rahm, $11,600. Man, that's a little expensive. I know he has great history here. Doesn't have worse than a 16th, but doesn't have better than a 9th, So at $11,600, you want your guy to be an automatic win. So, I just, in DraftKings purposes here, I'm looking down to see some value down here in the little lower. JT, I think, is one of the best plays in the whole field. His irons are dialed in right now. I like, if you just talk about Rahm being 11.6, JT 11,000, I think both have the same chance to win the tournament. So I like the $600 savings in DraftKings purposes this week. Patrick Cantlay has never played here before, but he seems to be loving the crowd. I wouldn't be surprised if he just pops up out of nowhere. One of my favorite plays in this whole range is Hideki Matsuyama, 2-time winner here. Hideki, this guy's irons are dialed in right now. That's something I'm looking at this week, a strokes gained approach. I'm really looking at guys that have great irons. I'm not too worried about, you see guys putting well, obviously, but I think if you can get a guy with dialed in irons who can putt this week, they're going to make noise. And I like Hideki. I mean, man, he's coming off 2 wins, the Zozo, the Zoni, good showing at the Farmers, and his irons are great right now. So I like Hideki this week a lot.
That's good stuff. You're not going to go wrong with Justin Thomas ever, I feel like, here at Phoenix, if you can work him in your lineup at 11,000. Patrick Cantlay is a really interesting play, though, because he is expensive. But, man, this guy's, I think his last 24 rounds, he's had 1 round over 70. His last scoring average in this year's events are like 67.5. So this guy's on fire too, Wildman.
Yeah, Cantlay's entered that range of, like, you expect him to be in contention every tournament, regardless of what is needed to play well. He's clearly in that upper echelon of players, top 5 in the world golf ranking. It seems like he's due to win a lot more events. I don't know about this one because I just think there's a lot of good players in this field. And, you can expect him and Rahm, who, by the way, is an Arizona State product, right down the road there in Tempe from this event, to be up at the top. I do share the sentiments with Thomas and Hideki as well. But I also could see fading this range because I think there's a ton of strength below it.
It is. I could see it too. It's tough to fade all 6 of those guys, though. I mean, Hovland, who we haven't mentioned anything about, Bones DK, is another guy who's off to a red hot start here in 2022.
Yeah, Viktor Hovland, his only appearance here is a miscut. I'm not looking too much into that. This guy is really good. Even though he came in 30th at the Century, he gained 4.1 on approach. And this is what I'm talking about. I mean, look at his irons, man. If he can just figure out his around the green game and putting, he's going to win the tournament. He's still winning tournaments with bad irons. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So, I mean, look at that around the green, though. Losing 6.2, 8.9, 3.2 in the putter. You want to be good around the green at this course. So that's something to be scared of with Hovland, I guess, if anything. I mean, $10,200. He's really good. I don't know if I'll be playing him this week, though.
Yeah, that's fair analysis. You've got to be good around the green here in Phoenix. And Wildman, something crazy about Hovland, though. You know, this is the biggest party of the year. He's a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. Is he going to feed off that energy a little bit? You know, or is he going to be out? Is he going to be out chasing women on Friday morning until 5 o'clock? Who knows?
There you go.
I would be.
yeah. Who wouldn't?
I mean, look at his results here. First, fourth, first. He's tough to deny.
$9,000 range. We got Spieth at 99, Schauffele at 97, Koepka at 94. He's a past champion here as well. Burns at 93, Berger at 92, Scheffler at 91, and Bubba, as I just said, has 6 top 10s there. He's played here, I think, 16 times, though. He's a veteran of this course. Bones, who do you like at this value?
You know, I'm loving Jordan Spieth at 9,900. He has really good history here with 2 top 10s. He gained 5.6 on approach last week at the Pebble Beach. Coming off a second place. This guy just likes his course. 9,900. I could even see you starting with Jordan Spieth this week. I'm not going to go crazy on him. I don't think he's like the best play ever, but 21 birdies and an eagle with great history. I think he is playing really good golf right now. I really like him at 9,900. I don't know if we're getting down to Scotty yet. I have a big take on him if you want to talk about him now or let Wildman talk.
Let's hear the take on Scotty because he's our favorite name in this group. We love this guy on this podcast. We need to get him a win. Wildman, what's your take?
Yeah, I'm going to pass on Spieth. I mean, any courses where you need to play well off the tee, I usually pass on him. He's a little erratic. And I'll also mention Berger real quick. You know, we had a bite on Berger early last week that he had tweaked his back. And, we were kind of hoping that he wasn't going to withdraw until Thursday morning. He ended up withdrawing Wednesday because we were going to fade him due to the injury anyhow. But I would be very wary of him. He rates out well, and I think he'll be popular, but definitely coming in with an injury. I'll let Rob speak on Scheffler, but I will talk about Schauffele. I think Schauffele is, if you're looking at course history, he's got as good a history, if not better, than Jon Rahm. Almost a $2,000 savings there. And a guy that any week, I'm a believer, you can start your lineup with. So getting him at 9,700 to me is an extreme bargain. And it's just a matter of when he's going to go on that tear. He can play really well in stretches, but he's about to go on one of those tears where he wins three or four tournaments in a season. You got to feel like it's coming.
I am salivating for a Scotty Scheffler take. Please, Bones, DK, give me one.
I'm salivating for a Scotty Scheffler win. All right, it's not because I'm just a homer of this guy. I just love him. Coming off a 7th place last year, and a type of guy I want to gamble on is the guy that has dialed-in irons, that has great iron stats, that just isn't hitting putts. And if you scroll down to Scotty Scheffler here, you can see in his 2 events in 2022, gaining 1.7 and 5.7 in his 2 events. I like what I see out of Scotty Scheffler. 7th place last year. He's going to figure out off the tee. He's one of the best off the tee players in the world. He bombs it. And if he just makes a few putts, he's literally like 4 putts away from winning a tournament. That's the type of guy I want to gamble on this week. If you look at like Denny McCarthy Edge, he has like amazing top finishes, 15th, 11th, whatever, but he's putting everything in right now. He has horrible irons. That's not something that's sustainable. Sustainable irons and making some putts is what I want to gamble on this week. Scotty Scheffler for the freaking win. Let's freaking get it, guys. Come on, please.
Let's go. 91. 91, a good value bet.
Great value.
There,
DraftKings,
like
too. That's what I'm saying. 9,100. You're not paying, 10,200 like you were a couple weeks ago. This is a real tournament. This is a big deal, and I think Scotty has a great chance to win this tournament. I'm not just saying that as a homer guy.
A ton of value here in this $8,000 range. When you consider Finau at 89, who was a runner-up here a season or two ago, Oosthuizen at 88, Fitzpatrick at 87, Webb Simpson. A lot of guys like him this week, 16-1 at most Vegas books. He's at 86 right now. Adam Scott, 85. Seamus Power, 84. I know we have some mixed feelings about Seamus. Corey Connors, who I love, 83. Henley, 82. Our boy Hoagie, or Hodge, or Hogue, however you say it, 81. And Harris English, 8,000. I mean, there's a lot of value here, Bones DK. A lot of guys we love on this podcast that have won us a lot of money last year. Are you booking them in your lineup this week?
Yeah, man, Oosthuizen has great history. Welcome back, Oosthuizen. Webb Simpson, amazing history. Not the irons that I like to see right now out of Webb, but 8,600. I don't see how many more times we're going to see Webb at this price, especially if he does something good this week. Seamus Power, geez, just take a knife and stab me in the stomach. He's like running away with it last week. I mean, that was tough to watch. He ended up fading a little bit, as we expected, actually. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to keep that up. But he seems to be a really, like I said this every week, legit player, 8,400. You can, and he, 9th, 14th, 13th, 15th, 4th. There's nothing denying him right now. His irons are in. I like him here. He doesn't have amazing history. I think missed his cut, but I'm not looking too much into history with Seamus Power because he's a whole different golfer lately. My favorite play by far in this range is Russell Henley. I could show you his stats, but he gains on approach literally every single tournament. 7th, 22nd, 2nd, 14th in his last 4 tournaments. 19 birdies, 22 birdies, 3 eagles. There's nothing to deny this guy. In fact, he's my value play of the week. Russell Henley this week. I think he has a great chance to do something special at this tournament. Has good history as well.
Wild man, you can make some hay in this $8,000 range. Who you got?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I do like Henley. Oosthuizen, guys, last year he was the #1 putter on the PGA Tour. So, guys can get hot with the putter, but to achieve that is one of the most difficult things in the world to do. And it's not really what you'd expect from him. But, let's play this narrative. Ricky Fowler, Brandon Grace, these kinds of guys, low ball flight hitters, keep it in the fairway. Louis, that kind of guy, that silky smooth swing. 8,800 seems like, he's just sort of in the weeds right now. I like Louis a lot. It kind of goes the same for Webb Simpson as well. 8,600, I agree with you, Bones. Like, you're not going to see him below 9K in normal fields quite often. And let's just call Seamus Power who he is. He's a stud. Every type of course, whether it's Hawaii, whether it's California, whether it's the desert, whether it's a Pro-Am. I mean, he's producing good results. 8,400 is juicy for a guy that is arguably in the best form of anyone in the field right now.
$7,000 range. Maverick McNeely has withdrawn from the tournament. He was at 77, so he's out. Horschel at 79. Varner, who just won in Saudi Arabia last weekend, at 78. You got Gooch. I can't go through all these guys because there's a ton of them here, but Luke List is already a winner this year. Keith Mitchell, guys talking about him. Kisner, 7,400. Is there any value there? Kuchar and Damon at 74. Man, those guys have been on our radar, Bones DK. This $7,000 range, what do you got?
I mean, that's someone who you should play, right, Edge? Is someone that's been on my radar and then it will just pop out and win after you missed the cut. Hoagie season. I put all my money on Hoagie 2 weeks ago. He missed the cut and then comes out and wins against me. So, just been a brutal start of the year. I like Andrew Putnam a lot. He's coming off a 7th place last year, and I like his 6th place at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. 21 birdies. The tournament before that, 20 birdies and an eagle, 17 birdies and an eagle. So Putnam is in serious form right now. Clearly doesn't care if the crowd is there with his top 10 last year. And Joel Damon, right? Let's look at his history. It is a miscut, withdraw, miscut. Why? My opinion is that he's out there pre-gaming, tailgating before the tournament with his bucket hat on and sunglasses.
100.
Doing beer bongs, playing beer pong before the start. And I think he's out there just to party and simply doesn't care if he wins or not. I mean, a miscut, withdraw, miscut. And he continues to come back. I wouldn't double down on Damon with another good finish this week.
Look, some of these people that live out there actually don't even know there's a golf tournament going on. They just think it's a nonstop party at night. That's what I mean. It resembles more of a festival than a golf tournament. It's like a sideshow, the golf tournament here. So Wildman, I do want to get your flyer of the week here, but anybody we should be considering here in this $7,000 range? Because again, there's a lot of guys here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's Kisner, right? I just talked about Fowler and Grace, who translate with that type of game into good finishes here. 7,400, huh? He's got 2 top 10s in the last 3 events. He's pouring in birdies. Sure didn't play great last week in that stupid event, but let's fire up Kisner, man. I feel like this guy is way, way better than 7,400. And Damon, by the way, seems a lot like me, doesn't he? Like if I was a PGA
except
golfer,
he can play golf.
that's exactly what people would be saying
And
about
he's
me.
got hair.
This guy, they'd be like, this guy doesn't even care out here. I mean, did you see him like sweeping putts in and then he's just slogging off the green, like couldn't care less. But
if we win the $1 million this year, I'm going to invite him to the Bones DK party. There's no doubt Joel Damon will be in attendance, and I'll pay for it if we win the $1 million this year.
Sometimes I just feel like the pressure is so high on these guys, though. And it's so much to like keep your torque hard that it's almost like a defense mechanism. Because I'm telling you, the guy wants to win. When he won in Puerto Rico a couple years ago, he was ecstatic about it. And if you read the media coverage around him those couple weeks after that, he was really committed to golf, trying to be a champion on the PGA Tour. Now it seems like he is a little bit more into like goofing off out there. But I really do think for young men out there, man, the pressure is just so immense. We've seen it break a couple golfers even in the past couple years. What was the one guy's name? The alcoholic that flipped
Anthony
out.
Kim.
Well, that guy, but there was another guy that said he wasn't getting any help from the PGA Tour or whatever. I mean,
Chris Kirk.
Well, Kirk has made a comeback. I can't. This other guy's
Grayson Murray.
That's who it is. Grayson Murray. Yeah.
He's all over Twitter right now. Grayson Murray.
Grayson's had some murdered him earlier this year. Nobody's seen him since. He's still pulling himself out of
Hey, do you think
out of Hawaii, but
do you think Robert Allenby needed help when he was stuffed in a trunk in Hawaii? Remember that?
Yeah, he was mugged, wasn't he? Like
I think it all was a ruse.
Yeah, I think it was a fake. It was a fake.
Yeah, I think he got caught with a woman for hire, if you will, and she punched his lights out. And he claimed he'd been kidnapped and jammed in a trunk.
Oh man, guys will do anything. They will make up anything to try and avoid that trauma. I feel like when they get caught with another woman, especially when they got a wife. All right, that's neither here nor there. We're getting into gutter talk here. Who's your flyer of the week, Wildman?
The flyer of the week is 6,200. This guy's been a winner on the Canadian Tour. He's been a winner on the Web.com Tour. He's a 2-time winner on the PGA Tour. Has 2 top 11s here, including a top 10 last season. We like to call him Al Bundy. He was a former shoe salesman. James Hahn, 6,200. The flyer of the week has not been going well so far. I think we missed 3 straight cuts. But this is one, guys, I feel like is we've got a really good opportunity to have a result here. 6,200 is really, really cheap.
All right, Bones DK, anybody that we overlooked here on our pod show today?
It's great to see Hank Lebioda back down there, 6,200. It's something I always play. Peter Malnati coming off a pretty good week, 6,100. Some good names down there. It's because it's a serious field now. I think we pretty much hit everybody. I like K.H. Lee this week, 7,300, I believe. Yeah, there he is. Has a second place here last year. Gained 5.8 on approach last week. 18 birdies, 1 double bogey. I think he can do pretty well here. So I like him as a cheap $7,300 play. But just refer to the top plays for the rest of the guys that we've missed this week.
Why does the PGA Tour not have some type of red zone camera, or at least a camera on every single hole?
We got to start a petition.
Even a commentator on every single hole. What would be the problem with that? I mean, the NFL has 16 games in a weekend, and they probably have 25 cameras on that game, or at least used to when the old NFL films were there. Why can't the PGA Tour do that? They've got the money to do that. It's $1 billion industry, for crying out loud, Wild man. What's the holdup?
It is completely unacceptable. Their lack of even having shot tracker at a PGA Tour event at this point in time, when clearly they know the momentum of gambling is behind them, the momentum of the younger generation, you know, playing golf, betting golf, being at golf tournaments. It's really strange. And I mean, like, let the shot tracker aside. The overall coverage of these events is an F on the scale, you know, on the grading scale. It's just terrible. I mean, you can't even, like, if your guy's not within 5 shots of the lead on the TV coverage, you don't even hear from him. You don't even know what's going on. It's really, really.
I mean, we're still living back in like 2007 on your cell phones where you're refreshing the ESPN and PGA Tour leaderboard. You're not watching anything. You're simply refreshing to see what numbers change on the leaderboard. It's really frustrating, Bones DK.
It's torture, is what it is. It's torture. I just want to see what happens. I'll pay for it. A lot of people will pay for it. In fact, anyone out there that has an idea to make a petition to get better coverage, let us know. Tweet at us. Let us know. We need it for the world, the gambling world of golf.
We need a petition. We need a petition to change the PGA Tour.
Yeah, well.
You know what else people would spend money on if they were given the opportunity? You know this, Rob.
What is it?
Weed.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. That's why Colorado's
you know
great.
this, Rob. You lived in Colorado. It's legal out there, and apparently it's doing good things with the tax revenue it's creating. Again, these are things for another podcast. Any final thoughts, Bones DK, on the Wasted Management Phoenix Open at the TPC Scottsdale?
Let's hope for a fun week. And just because I don't like Damon to win this week, I'm rooting for him. You know, he might be a couple beer bongs deep, but you know, love the guy.
We are always rooting for Damon. Wildman, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I want to mention 2 other quick guys there at low 7,000s, Charles Howell and Aaron Wise. If you get stuck in that position, needing a guy in that price range, I'd take a look at those guys pretty long and hard. But, you know, Ed, you were talking about getting the Bones DK fam out at the Waste Management next season. Well, guys, don't look too far around the corner. There's a Super Bowl. Hop, skip, and a jump into Vegas. If you remember, you and I were out in Vegas for the 2017 Super Bowl, which I think was the Waste Management where HIDEKI it was on Super Bowl Sunday back then because the NFL's now moved back a week, but I think it was where HIDEKI beat Webb in a playoff, and that was the 28-3 Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl. And needless to say, you know, we were walking a little sideways out there that weekend too.
Left just with my mind and body in complete shambles, and I've never wanted to go back ever since. In fact, I don't know if I'll ever go back to Las Vegas. I don't. That was my 3rd or 4th trip. I think I've had enough of it. Anyhow, again, hey, these are topics for another podcast. All right,
let's Tiesto at Hakkasan.
Yeah, that was Hakkasan. That was Caesar's Palace Super Bowl. That was just enough. I had enough. What was it? I spent 4 days in Vegas one night. You know what I mean? It was one of those weeks. Anyhow, TWMan66, Bones DK Golf. My name is Edge. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok at GolfGuyWV. Thanks so much for listening, and good luck at the Waste Management Phoenix Open.